What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to Bananas Epic Gaming, and sorry about that noise in the background. I have a fan going on. It's kind of hot outside. So, anyway, today on Bananas Epic Gaming, we are coming back at you with another CageTalk. And I'm going to be ranking the Scream series, aka the Scream universe. That is Scream 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then Scream the TV shows, seasons 1, 2, and 3. And this is because dun 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 Scream 5 is being made. They announced it before the stuff that's happening right now. We don't know much, but maybe it's going to be a continuation of Scream 5, given us confirmation that Kirby's alive because she's alive. Or it's going to be a complete reboot. I don't know, but I can't wait. So, if you're new to the channel, please become a subscriber, and here we go. With one honorable mention, and that is going to be Scream 5. Now, Scream 5, I don't know how I feel about that. Because Wes Craven passed away. Kevin Williamson, the guy that wrote the original Scream, I hope he comes back, because it's going to feel weird, because Wes Craven died August 30th, 2015. I believe he died on the premiere of the season finale of season 1. My memory is correct, of Scream. But if they can bring in a good director, and bring in Kevin Williamson to help pitch the idea for Scream 5 and bring back everybody for one last go and kill off Sidney and Dewey and Gale, then start with a new focal point, like Hayden Panettiere's character or somebody else, because the story of Sidney is done. There should not have been a Scream 4, but I said, okay, you know what, I'll take it. Scream 3 was awful. Scream 4 was better, but not really. It had some points that made me upset, but not as much as Scream 3. If they have open auditions for Scream 5, you can bet I will send in a tape. But Scream 5, I will look forward to it, and if it can have good kills, have a good story, have a killer that's shocking, and have the strength and the brains to kill off one of the main characters out of Gale or Dewey or Sidney, or kill them all off, then it will be better than Scream 3 and this TV series, obviously. So with that, let's get to the rankings. Okay, massive spoilers alert for Scream 1, 2, 3, and 4. Scream the series, Season 1 and Season 2, and Season 3, aka Scream Resurrection. Massive spoilers. I'm going to be going over a lot of the plot details, a lot of the storylines, and the killers. So, here we go. And coming in last place of my favorite of the Scream series is Scream Season 3, aka Scream Resurrection. So Scream Season 3 takes place in Atlanta. They filmed this 2017 and it came out in 2019. The third season of Scream, which is known as Resurrection, is the first one that has Ghostface, the voice and the costume. And it is the same person, Roger Jackson, from the movies. The cast is Tony Todd, who plays the Hookman. You got Mary J. Blige. You got Gideon Emery, who's known as Deucalion on Teen Wolf. Terrence J. You got R.J. Seiler, who was the Blue Power Ranger in the Power Rangers reboot that came out a couple years ago. He's the main character. His name is Dion Elliott. You got Tyler Posey, who is Scott from Teen Wolf. You got Tyga. You got Georgina Wiggum. She's on the Vampire Diaries second spin-off, Legacies. And you got Keke Palmer. This is a pretty good cast, but I didn't like it because I knew from the moment the first episode ended who one of the killers were. And spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, it is Georgina who plays Beth. And the second killer is Tyga. They wanted to kill Dion because Dion is not Dion, if that makes sense. Because Dion has a twin, and in a flashback, when they were little kids, Dion was sticking up for his little brother. He let his brother be Scream, and they went into the Hookman's property, and the Hookman killed him with the hook. This was an entire mess. I didn't like this. I watched it because of Tyler Posey, because I support Tyler Posey. Then I saw Gideon. I'm like, okay, perfect. You also got Jessica Shulu, who plays Olivia. That is Dion's love interest, or I forgot the name of the brother. Elliot? Oh, Marcus. His name's Marcus Elliot. Okay, yeah. But this is a okay show to watch if you want to watch only one episode or one time. But I would not want to watch it more than once. I watched it with my mom because we like watching TV shows like this together. And I would like watch it maybe once a year, or if I'm at a party or we're watching movies and all that, I would only watch this once. I would not constantly watch it like I watch the other Screams or the other Scream TV series seasons. I'm upset that they recast it and they rebooted everything because Carlson Young, I adore her, and she played Brooke. I wanted to see Brooke Maddox grow, and I wanted to see Emma, her story, come to a conclusion, because they left us on a cliffhanger. Who's the third killer? And now we would never know. That's upsetting to me. But let's get to the next one. Now on to the next movie / TV show. And coming in next should be no surprise to anybody, and it is Scream 3. So for me, Scream 3, it fits here. This Scream is the first one not written by Kevin Williamson, and production began around a month after the Columbine shooting, and with that, it went from not a horror movie to a comedy movie, because in the original script, so I've read, it was going to be like a cult of ghost faces going after Sydney. And instead, we got this. This movie, wow. There's a bunch of bad decisions all over the place. We got Jane, Silent Bob, and a painful cameo. Ghostface has a tool that can have you mimic anybody's voice. And that technology doesn't exist today, and it existed 17 years ago. And we have Ghost of Sidney Dead's mother in this movie. They kill off Cottonworry, and that's the only person from the original movie and part 2 to die. Because you know the first person you see in the movie is going to die. But Sydney, apparently, spoiler alert, has a brother. And that's who the brother is. The brother is Roman Bridger. When I first saw that, I'm like, okay, I'll take it. It's a good, scary movie at the time. And that's when I was a little kid. But as I've grown up and I've seen more horror movies and more and more and more, this one rings at the bottom. This is my least favorite Scream. And that's because of the writing and the kills. I mean, the best kill that I liked was Tyson, who got his neck snapped, got slashed, and got thrown off the balcony. The least favorite death that I didn't like was Cottonworry. I mean, you knew he was going to die, but he should not have died in the beginning. If you are going to watch the entire Scream movie series, and like a marathon, like during Halloween, or you're going to binge them before part 5 comes out, be prepared because Scream 5 cannot be as bad as Scream 3, because Scream 3 is a disaster from top to bottom, and that's what happens when you don't have Kevin Williamson writing it. But now Scream 5 is going to not have Kevin Williamson writing it, and is not going to have Wes Craven directing it, because Wes Craven sadly passed away a couple years ago. Now on to the next movie. Alright, coming up next is going to be Scream, the series, season number 1. Now, from here on out is going to be really hard, because I loved season 1. It was new, a new take on Scream. I liked the characters. Carlson Young, I adore her. She played Brooke Maddox perfectly. And you got Emma, you got Will, you got Noah, aka the new Randy. This is a pretty good cast. But the only problem is, I figured out who the killer was within the first couple episodes. Well, one of the killers. So, spoiler alert, from here on out, I'm going to talk about season 1. And I'm going to say who the killer is. So if you haven't seen season 1, and you want to watch it someday, pause the video, go watch it, come back. First, like the video and subscribe so you can come back to it. And here we go. So this came out in June 30th, 2015. It was like right after Teen Wolf. I remember that because I was at my sister's house. We were house sitting. And it concluded in September 1st, 2015. And this was the last thing that Wes Craven tied his name to. And the whole plot of season 1 was a cyberbullying incident results in a brutal murder, and the shocking violence stirs up memories of a killing spree from the past. Now, in this TV show, in this universe, Ghostface doesn't really exist, but the killer from the past is Brandon James. He had the Elephant Man syndrome, so take it what you can. And they had one good death scene, and that was Riley. And you had Bella Thorne, who got butchered. But this season is, from top to bottom, really good. It's a 90s film. And the killer, spoiler alert, in 3, 2, 1, skip like 10 seconds. The killer is going to be the Garrel Weathers, aka Piper. She was Emma's older half-sister. If you like Scream and you want to watch a Scream-like show, because you have the killer's voice, but it's not Roger Jackson that I can remember. You know, it's Mike Vaughn. That's who does the Ghostface voice, the killer's voice in season 1 and season 2. And you want a semi-good-looking cast? This is the TV show. It's only a couple of episodes. I think it's like 10, 13 episodes. And it's pretty good for an MTV show. Now on to the next movie / Scream pick. Coming in next is going to be Scream 2. I'll tell you why Scream 2 is here right now. Okay, so we're going to be talking about Scream 2 right now. Spoiler alert, I'm going to name the 2 killers first, so please skip 10 seconds starting now. The 2 killers are Mickey, the film student, and the surprise killer is Mrs. Loomis. Okay, welcome back if you skipped. This movie takes place 2 years after the original movie, and it picks up where Sydney and Randy in college. They're in their junior year, and surprise, 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 Gail Weathers, aka Courtney Cox, wrote a book. And they're making a movie out of that book, and it is called Stab. It is about the events of part 1. So the movie kicks off with 2 people getting murdered at the premiere. And you're probably thinking, why didn't anybody stop them? Well, because everybody got a free Ghostface costume at the premiere. And then from there on out, the second killer that I named, she wanted revenge on Gail, Dewey, Randy, and basically anybody that had anything to do with what happened to Billy Loomis. And Mickey wanted to have a trial because he was going to blame the movies. So the whole little jab for this movie is sequels suck. Sequels cannot surpass the originals. Yes, you have some good kills like the Casey Becker, see her getting stabbed and thrown off the balcony. You have a cop who got impaled through a pipe through the head. But you had the boyfriend die by a gunshot. And the one thing that I did not like about this movie is that they killed Randy in the middle of the movie. I wanted Randy to come back for Scream 3, and he came back for Scream 3. So why did you kill him? You should have just killed him in Scream 3. Killed him the opening death and had Cotton Worry be killed in the middle of Scream 3. Because Cotton Worry's in this movie. He's back. He's out of jail. He's walking around. He was trying to get Sydney to come on Dateline with her, and they can have a sit-down interview together. So there's a lot of red herrings in this movie. But Scream 2, I'll watch it. It's a lot better than 3. It's a lot better than season 3 of the TV show. But it's not my favorite Scream movie. Now on to the next movie. / TV show. Coming up next is going to be Scream 4. The reason why Scream 4 is this number 3, I'll explain why right now. It's pretty simple. Okay, so if you haven't seen Scream 4 yet, please skip to 10 seconds and enjoy the rest of the video, because I'm going to name who the 2 killers are. So the 2 killers in Scream 4 are Charlie and Jill Roberts, aka Sydney's cousin. Welcome back if you are just coming back. I named who the 2 killers are, and if you know who they are, let me know what you think about that in the comments below. Now, Scream 4 takes place 20 years after the original events of the first movie. And here we thought, okay, they're gonna have an entire new cast. This new cast is going to carry it on. Gail or Dewey or Sydney or all 3 of them are going to die. And Jill Roberts and Hayden Panettiere are going to take this series into the next generation for 5 and 6. No. That's one of my big pet peeves with this movie. It killed off everybody but the three original people. Hayden Panettiere, his character Kirby, is supposedly alive. And you got the cop that went to school with Sydney. Everybody else that was new to the TV, the series, died. Why? Makes no sense. It was supposed to be a soft reboot / sequel, but you completely killed everybody off. You had Lucy Hale, who was coming off of Pretty Little Liars at the time. She was red hot. You had Anna Paquin. You had Kristen Bell, Hayden Panettiere, Amy Teagarden, Britt Robinson, Alison Brie, Emma Roberts. You had Roy Culkin, Nico I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. Anthony Anderson. You had them. Adam Brody. You had all these amazing actors in your hand, and you just kill them off. Yes, some of the devs were good, like I forgot her name. Sydney's manager, because it's 20 years after the first events of the movie. Sydney wrote a book, and she comes home to her hometown at the last stop of her book release press tour, and her manager got stabbed, and she got thrown off the parking lot garage balcony, and she fell on the news van. This movie is good, but it's frustrating because if they make Scream 5, it's going to be an entire another new cast, and we're only going to have Gail, Dewey, Sydney, and maybe the other cop that survived. Hopefully Hayden Panettiere's character Kirby is still alive, because she was talking to Wes Craven before Wes Craven died about coming back. Because Kirby apparently stopped the bleeding from bleeding out, and you can hear her crawling through the downstairs. So, now on to number 2. Coming in at number 2 is going to be Scream the Series, Season 2. I really liked Season 2, and I'll tell you why right now. So, spoiler alert for Season 1 and Season 2 for the first 10 seconds of this video, starting right now. The killer in Season 2 and the second killer in Season 1 is Kieran, the boyfriend. And, spoiler alert, again, he dies at the end of Season 2 in the Halloween episode by another maxed killer. And I believe that was supposed to be the killer for Season 3. But, of course, Season 3 got moved to VH1, and it got the reboot, and we got the original Ghostface mask. So, it left it open. I really liked Season 2 because it had, like, every episode was an homage to a classic horror movie, like Halloween, The Last House on the Left, When a Stranger Calls, Let the Right One In, etc., etc., etc. And Carson Young did an amazing job in Season 2, so he had more screen time. You had the new character of Gustavo. Noah got another love interest, and we know what happens there with Noah's love interest. Because Noah is the Randy, and Emma is the Sydney, and Brooke is the Tatum, but luckily Brooke survives. So, Season 2 is really good. So if you want to watch Season 2 and Season 1, watch them, don't watch Season 3. Season 2 is better because the deaths are better, the more violent, more bloodier, and the killer is ruthless in this one. He's more ruthless in this one than he is in Season 1. Because you have to think that he, the killer, did a lot of the helping in Season 1. Like when Piper got knocked out and Will got dragged away. Or the bowling alley incident, because Piper was there, Kieran was there, and I think the third killer was there. Because I think the third killer was Brandon James. He came back, and he didn't like Kieran dating his daughter. And that's when it happened. Now on to number 1. I'm not going to spoil too much because I want you to be able to enjoy this season for yourself. So now on to the number 1 pick of my personal favorites of the Scream universe. Alright, and my favorite Scream out of the Scream universe is Scream. The original Scream. And I'll tell you why right now. Scream, the first one, was one of the first horror movies I remember watching. and I was terrified of Ghostface when I was a little kid. Not terrified, but he did scare me. The mask went for like a couple years until I grew up. The Scream movie, the first one, takes place a year after Sidney Prescott. Spoiler. Skip 10 seconds. Or 20 seconds. Takes place a year after the killers Billy and Stu. And apparently Roman, who was the killer in Scream 3, killed Sidney's mother and framed Cottonworry. And Cottonworry went to prison. Fast forward a year later, and it's the events of Scream, and they're trying to finish a hat trick. Billy is trying to kill Sidney and frame the dad and get away scot-free. But surprise, surprise, Sidney stops him, and you got Courtney Cox as Gail Weathers, who is a nice little piece to this movie. And you got Deputy Dooley Riley, played by David Arquette. And David Arquette was born for this role. He is Dooley Riley, in my mind. The best kill is Tatum's death. My least favorite kill is Principal Henry. That's all I can say about Scream. Go watch it. It is a cult classic. You won't be disappointed if you haven't seen it. And if you haven't seen it, what are you doing? Go watch it. I want to thank you guys for watching this episode of CageTalk, where we rank the Scream universe. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and tap the bell on the YouTube app so you guys never miss an upload, and I'll see you at the next one. Peace.